Alright you guys, so we are here on the Great Barrier Reef. This is a trip I've always wanted to do ever since I got certified, like I was telling y'all last night. And just got back from the first dive. It was kind of difficult to do this intro, so I'll show you guys all of that footage now.
Remember that plan I could not tell you about?
I have got to go fast.
And we're back, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, we're about to have lunch, and then we've got another dive, and I'm doing a liveabord, which is something I've never done before. I've never slept on the ocean before either, so this is going to be kind of interesting for me. So yeah, we're going to have some lunch, and then we've got another dive, and you know, not a lot of people are doing the liveabord thing, so it's going to be cool to kind of live on the ocean for 2 nights. Alright you guys, so we've made it to the Ocean Quest, and this is where we're spending the next 2 nights, and we're going to do some night diving tonight, and yeah, so we've got a little briefing, so I'm going to make this quick and get to the briefing. But yeah, this is the room right here. I'll show you guys. Not too bad. I've got a roommate too, Simone, so yeah, got to get to this briefing, you guys.
Let us rejoice and let us sing and dance and ring in the new. Hail Atlantis!
All right, y'all, so I'm about to go do something I've never even heard of before. It's called fluoro diving, and like you light paint on the coral, and they put these like special UV filters, and there were only 4 of us going, and I got asked if I wanted to go. I was like, yeah, all right. It was like an extra $50, but you know, I just met the guy upstairs. He's like, oh man, yeah, this is my favorite place to do it, and all the reefs. So I feel pretty special right now. Yeah, I can't wait to show you guys. I mean, I don't think there's a UV filter for my GoPro, but hopefully you guys will kind of get a feeling for what it's like. But I got to get up there because we're about to have our meeting. So I'll let you guys know how it goes, and I'll show you guys how it's going to go too.
So I'm Jemma. I work on deep sea diver stand on the Great Barrier Reef.
I'm Cedric. I'm from Namibia. Also working now in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef.
So I grew up here at Green Island, and it's a tiny little island off the coast of Cairns, in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef. I spent the first 12 years of my life pretty much freediving and snorkeling, and I've seen a lot of really amazing things on the reef here. Probably something that I've noticed over the years is you can see the difference in the quality of the reef and the quality of the corals. So I visited Green Island maybe like a year and a half ago, and there's this really beautiful patch of healthy soft coral around the island close to the jetty, and then I visited it again in maybe August this year, and it was pretty much all gone, so all the soft coral was wiped out. Have you noticed much bleaching or anything like that?
You do a lot of conservation work, right?
Well, from my side, I can't really compare it because I've only been here about almost a year by now. So it still looks pretty great to me because I can't compare it to how it used to be. Although obviously in certain places you can see damage and that kind of thing. I come from a desert country, so obviously it's a treat just to be out here where it's like, you know, nice and tropical. But yeah, I think this year there wasn't that much bleaching because the temperatures didn't rise so high.
Yeah, it's looking good right now.
It actually looks pretty good.
And we've had a good wet season, which I think really
And a good
helps
coral
bring the
spawning.
nutrients back. Yeah, coral spawning. So coral bleaching is something that happens when the water temperature rises. The corals become quite stressed. So what they do to kind of cope with that is there's this tiny phytoplankton that lives inside the coral polyp called zooxanthellae. And when the corals get stressed, they will expel the zooxanthellae out into the surrounding water body. And they need the zooxanthellae in order to be able to take a protein that they need to build the limestone coral, essentially the skeleton of the coral. So what protects the coral polyps, and without the zooxanthellae, they're not able to create that protein that allows them to do that. So they can survive a little while without the zooxanthellae, a couple of months, and that's when you see the bleaching. So that's when a coral will look white. So it's that actual phytoplankton that gives the corals the color, the brown colors or whatever color the coral is. And the same with giant clams, certain fish, they all have this zooxanthellae phytoplankton, which gives them the color. So the corals can survive a little while, but eventually they're going to need to take back that zooxanthellae. And if the water temperatures haven't cooled down enough, they won't be able to, and they will die.
It's just a group basically of divers who are in the industry that are trying to come together and make some kind of a difference. It's obviously not that easy because we're all working full-time, pretty busy schedules, and often it's, you know, just the workers that are doing it, not necessarily the bigger companies, so it's not that easy. It's kind of fighting against the system a bit, but I think we just have to keep on trying. We'll get there eventually. And the main message is that the small things help. You might think, I'm just one person, I can't do anything to prevent climate change, but the fact is all of us want to see turtles out here, we want to see sharks, we want to see beautiful corals, we want to see lots of reef fish. If you want to see that, you actually have a responsibility, even if you're living on the other side of the world. Whatever you do, we're so global nowadays that whatever you do at home actually affects the whole planet in some way. So just by doing small things, if we all turn off the lights when we leave the room, take our chargers off when we're not using it, when the devices are charged, just switching over to using a cloth bag instead of plastic bags when we go shopping. It just seems like small things, but if everyone does that small thing, it will make a big difference at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Rather than everyone not saying, oh, we can't do anything, and no one does anything to change it.
The mentality is all like, I'm just one person,
But many one persons make lots of people, millions of people. Easy way to check it, you can actually get for free from University of Queensland. It's like just a chart, coral health chart. And a citizen scientist, you can go out and just compare the colors, and it's mostly the brown, green, tan sort of colored corals that you can measure if they're getting lighter, if they're bleaching, or if they have a nice dark color. That's the main way to ascertain the health of the reef. And it's actually pretty easy. You fill in the chart, there's an app on your phone, and then you just send it in, and they can check, like, you know, how's the reef looking, because obviously the scientists can't get out to all places.
Yeah, so that citizen science is important too. Some of the research that they're doing on the reef right now is looking at the different types of corals, and if it's possible to be able to crossbreed certain species, and in that sense be able to create a species that has a higher susceptibility to higher temperatures in the water, so able to adapt faster to rising water temperatures and not bleach. I've dived sort of further north, close to the tip of Australia, on the Great Barrier Reef there, and it was the most beautiful reef that I've seen, and it looked very healthy. But, you know, further down south in the colder water, there's some healthy reefs there as well. So I think the issue is it's just patchy in certain places.
And the cool thing, it's not all gloom and doom. The Great Barrier Reef is still pretty great. Obviously, it's under attack. It does need some help from us. But like you say, a lot of it can actually recolonize if you just give it a chance, you know.
Yep.
So still pretty awesome, and we just need to give it as much help as we can.
I don't know, for me it's just get people talking about it. Do a bit of research, have a look at some pictures, but essentially if you can, just come and see the reef for yourself, because you can hear all these things in the news. You know, there's a lot of stigma about it. Everyone says, oh, the reef's dead, you know, but that isn't so good for the reef, because if everybody thinks that the reef is dead, nobody wants to save it because they think, oh, it's too late.
Exactly.
But come and see it.
I have exactly the same thought on that as Jemma, because just by coming here, we're supporting the reef actually, because if it wasn't for tourism bringing in a lot of money, they might possibly use it more for fishing or mining or that kind of thing. So just by coming here to support the reef, you're making it a viable economic proposition for people to save it, to make it a conservation area.
If everyone thinks it's dead, it's just giving the big companies permission to
no one's going to come, and they're just
further.
going to come and mine and fish and do all that. So just by coming here, we're supporting it. Obviously, some things are being done, like some companies have banned straws, for example. All that plastic ends up in the sea. Some companies recycle a lot. There's even a few that have sponsored planting trees and things like that, the Turtle Rehabilitation Center. Obviously, we'd urge all the companies to get more involved.
Absolutely.
And to get more involved in things like recycling, making less of a carbon footprint out here on the reef.
But it's
things
easy.
like using environment-friendly sunscreen, for example, that would help.
It's
Or
easy.
putting on sunscreen at least a long time before you get in the water.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty bad for the corals as well. So there's a lot of small things we can do as a group, and we can only go ahead with that. Let's be positive.
Just as something as simple as banning plastic straws. We don't need straws.
Yeah.
We can just drink.
Yeah.
So something easy that lately a lot of companies in Cairns and on the Great Barrier Reef have been getting on board with, which is really good to see that there's this sort of this mindfulness now about what you can do.
It just takes a while, but I think most people aren't aware of it. They don't want to necessarily,
Change their lifestyle, change their habits.
and we have to, if we want to see cool things out here, we all have to change what we do every day, pretty much.
I mean, that's life is change, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's this film coming out this year. It's called The Great Barrier Reef 3D, and it's an IMAX movie, documentary style, which is essentially about the citizens of the Great Barrier Reef, so the people that live and work here, and the small things that they're doing in order to be able to protect the reef and make it last for the next generation. So because I grew up on a small island off the coast, and because I've spent my life here on the reef, I'm in the film. I would love for you guys to go and see it. You'll be able to see it in Europe and the States in late 2018, possibly close to June or July. Check it out online. It's called The Great Barrier Reef 3D.
All right, you guys, so I've made it to my Airbnb. I'm throwing this video together, but I had so much fun, and it was just a dream come true to get to go to the Great Barrier Reef and see everything. And it was just, I was very honored to sit down and talk with Jemma and Cedric about all the great stuff that they're trying to do to preserve the reef for future generations. So even if you're not a scuba diver, and even if you can't even swim, there are little things that we can do to keep these huge historic landmarks and these geological formations alive for the next generation. And I was really interested to hear about all the stuff that we can do, and like stuff like banning straws. It's so goofy, but we can drink out of just cups and cans and all that stuff. We don't need straws, but it's those little things. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but kind of sit back and think, what am I doing, and what's the impact have? What is the carbon footprint that I'm leaving on this world? Because we all should try and do our best to save these amazing places and all these amazing creatures, and it's just not fair to them because they have no say in the matter. They're not the ones dumping plastic in. So kind of think about that. I hope you guys really enjoyed all the footage I shot. It took a while for me to get this together. I know I've been off the grid for a minute, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys really learned something. But I am about to head to the airport to fly to my next country, you guys. So I will get on the road, and we'll see you tomorrow.